Good morning to you all. Thank you so much for joining us for our webinar today to learn about this incredible country, Croatia. My name is Zehava Biton, and I'm with IWorld of Travel. Along with us is Alida, who is actually the manager of our Europe division, and she's Croatian and definitely is the person to talk for Croatia. And thank you so much, Eva, CEO of the Tourist Office of Croatia, for joining us and heading the presentation for today. I would like to have just Alida as our specialist for Croatia and Europe to say a few words, and then we will have Eva taking over for the presentation.
Yes, hello everyone. Good morning, good day, wherever you are in the US. So hello from me. My name is Alida Paljevic. I have recently joined the team at iWorld of Travel. I am a Croatian girl, and I have been in this business for a long time, over 15 years, and I've been working also as a tour manager, not only in Croatia, but all around Europe. And I really would love to work with you and help craft any itineraries that you wish to do, that your clients want to do. And I want to stress out how important it is to me to always listen and do the very best itinerary for your clients, because to me it's not just a booking, it's some people going to see my country that later on are going to further promote it to their friends. And of course also we want you as the travel agents to be very happy with our service. So right now, I have nothing more to add. I'm here for you for any questions about Croatia, the whole Adriatic region, and Europe, the whole of Europe, really. And now I will hand the word to my fellow Croatian, the lovely Iva Bahunek from the Croatian Tourist Board based in Los Angeles. And she will do a wonderful presentation about Croatia, the culture, the customs, the people, and everything that makes Croatia, Croatia. So that's it from me. Eva, please take over.
Thanks so much, Alida and Zehava, for inviting me to host this presentation. In times like this, I think this is the only source how we can get together and continue with our work. The presentation that will follow is going to last for about 20 minutes. Of course, you can, do all the Q&As afterwards. The thing that I wanted to show you was actually the complete, hold on, let me just see if I can start with the presentation myself. Jane? Thank you. Here we go. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So Croatia is a very small country, but I loved everything that Zehava said about the 50 years of tradition of their own company, of iWorld of Travel. We live and create tradition, and that is what you will see through this presentation. I'm sure a lot of you saw a lot of our flags in 2018 during the World Championship and the World Cup, when we became the second, we won the second place in the World Cup. Croatia in numbers is, we have the population of 4.15 million people. And also, when you look at it, when you look at the map, it's quite divided, but it's actually pretty small. It only has 21,851 square miles. However, these numbers are in comparison to other countries. For example, we are 0, 0, 0.57 the size of USA. We are 0.158 in the size of Germany, about the same size as Stockholm, but most importantly, 2 times the size of Slovenia, our neighboring country. That was a joke. Okay, I'm having a bit of troubles with holding this. Hold on. There we go. Okay, so mostly what people know about us is our coast, and it's our capital. The coast is truly amazing. To me, it's the most beautiful part of the world because it has 1,246 islands, which is just absolutely perfect for sailing and getting to know Croatia from the seaside. Also, as you know, the Croatia is actually the Mediterranean country. So we are sharing the Mediterranean basin along with some other countries. And of course, we share the Mediterranean culture. I will talk about it a bit later. But also, as we share the Mediterranean culture, we share the Mediterranean gastronomy. Also, Croatia has become a very, very popular filming destination. All of you know about the Game of Thrones, all of you know about the Star Wars, etc., etc. But also, the filming destination has not just become popular. For the past 40 to 50 years, we've been the center for filming industries around the world, especially America, because of the beauty of the country. So, when we come to the inventions from Croatia, I'm sure that a lot of you did not know that mechanical pencils, the fountain pens, were discovered by Croats. Then the cravat, the tie, is actually a part of ancient Croatian uniform and is officially considered to be Croatian invention. The Zeppelin has been invented by the Croats, as well as the parachute. Of course, dactyloscopy, which is, very important when you look at the CIS and etc., then you know that it's from Croatia. But everything else that has been invented in the world has been invented by Nikola Tesla. So let's start with Croatia. You see the Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, is right here in the northern part of the country. We will go from Zagreb to Rijeka, to this part, the peninsula called Istria, through the islands, to the southern part of Croatia. So we will actually go through the whole Croatian territory through the presentation. First, we will go to Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, which ranks among the oldest cities in Central Europe. And it became the city as early as the beginning of 10th century. So I would always suggest, and of course Alida and Alida's colleagues who will do your itineraries or what have you, I would always suggest to do the 2-day stop in Zagreb because the beauty of it, it's just breathtaking. It has about 1 million people. It is a typical Central European city. Everything is walkable. So basically in one day you can see the center of Zagreb. This is the old town with the parliament, as well as the Croatian National Theatre. And this is one of the castles above city of Zagreb. It's called the Medvedgrad Castle. Also, what is beautiful around and in the vicinity of Zagreb, it's the Croatian castles. So the medieval towns have been built, of course, primarily from the castles and then around it. What you can see around Zagreb, also around Croatia, are these beautiful, beautiful medieval castles. Everything is very, very close. So actually, all of these, for example, castles that I've just shown you are around in the vicinity of a 1-hour drive from Zagreb. all of them host beautiful music events. They host wonderful theater events. It's just absolutely amazing. Film festivals are within those castles. So, you know, when you book your trip, anytime throughout the year, anytime you visit Croatia, there's always something going on. Rijeka is our next stop. It is beautiful, beautiful coastal town. It's in the northern part of Adriatic. For 2020, it's been elected as European Capital of Culture. So ever since the Romans up until now, throughout Croatia, you will see the culture from the Greeks, from the Romans, through French, through Austro-Hungarian Empire, and of course the native Croatian culture. So that is something that is very, very unique for our country, because we've been under so many different cultures, but again, we've been building our own culture in mix, which is absolutely amazing. So Rijeka is one of the coastal towns on the northern part of Adriatic that has been hosting numerous regattas, numerous artistic shows. The climate there is just absolutely perfect for anything in terms of music and arts. They have a wonderful art scene, and therefore they've been, of course, elected as the European Capital of Culture for 2020. Of course, Croatia is a part of European Union, and this year we are presiding the EU. Imagine that. I mean, we have so many things to do and so many challenges because of course, the corona, and you know, now everything in terms of economics, it's going to be very, very challenging to preside EU in these times. Okay. From Rijeka, we are going to one of the islands I wanted to show you. As you saw, there are almost 1,300 islands, and you can't go wrong with any of the islands that you go to. You will have a wonderful time. Why? Everybody, you know, always asks me, where should we go snorkeling? Where should we go diving? What should we do? Where can we go, you know, bike riding, horseback riding? You can do that on every single island. The sea is so pristine. The Adriatic Sea is one of the cleanest seas in the world, as you know. So anywhere you go, the flora and the fauna within the waters and above it is just amazing. Why did I put Lošinj here? Because the island of Lošinj has been promoted as completely sustainable island. So everything on the island in terms of nature, its heritage, and the way people are behaving towards itself has been really, really sustainable. Every hotel on this island has the sustainable hotel certificate. The island itself has been founded by the ancient Romans, who have actually found that the climate and the microclimate of the island is perfectly well for respiratory system as well as the skin. Moving along, we will go to another island in the Adriatic. It's called the island of Hvar. The majority of the Americans know it because it's not only because of its architecture and culture, which is amazing. For example, the island of Hvar has the oldest theater in Europe. I don't know if you knew that or not. So the island of Hvar is very popular because of its climate. It's the sunniest island in the Adriatic. It's very close to the town of Split, and it hosts beautiful music festivals, dance festivals, art festivals, etc. Then we're going back to our jewel, our crown jewel of the peninsula of Istria, Pula, with the amphitheater. As you can see, the Roman amphitheater is the best amphitheater, best kept actually and maintained amphitheater, right after the one in Verona. So as you can see, if we're going through the tradition and through the history, you will see that each city that we will go through and each island that we see is the combination of the Romans and the Greeks and Croatians. So everything that you will be able to experience in Croatia has this special touch, because the culture in every single city, in every single village, in every single town, it has its own different atmosphere. This is the town of Zadar, which has been also built. Its beginnings were from the ancient Romans. However, Zadar itself is one of the most important coastal towns in Croatia. Why? Because in front of it there are 40 different islands that you can actually go and see. So something that I haven't said yet is that the city, every single city on the coast has its own ports, but also not only harbors as harbors, but also charter harbors, charter ports. We're very, very, very famous for sailing. So every single city and every single smaller town on the Adriatic coast has its own charters. So you can go ahead and, you know, just go there and take a sailing boat and the skipper and go and sail. But of course, the IWorld of Travel, as the company, is going to do that for you. This is also the city of Zadar, as you can see. And now we're going to the other city on the coast. The name is Šibenik. This is the first native Croatian city. It dates from the 9th century, and it's just amazing because in front of it, in front of the city of Šibenik, there are at least 30 different islands that you can go with the ferry. You can go and hop from one island to the other, and it's absolutely beautiful. Also, what Šibenik is famous for, and the islands around it, it's for its coral reefs in front of it, the beautiful musical events, Michelin star restaurants, theater scene is absolutely amazing. Every city, and I haven't pointed that out yet, every city that I've shown you is the part of it, or the whole one, is under UNESCO protectorate. So everything that I will be showing you is under UNESCO protection. Now we're coming to one of the crown jewels of Croatia, the city of Split. The city of Split was actually one of the reasons why it's so famous is that it's been founded by the Emperor Diocletian. As you can see, I will show you, this whole place has been actually the Diocletian Palace. So the city itself has been built within the walls of the Diocletian Palace, the Roman Emperor's Palace. This is part of the Split. It's never this empty, I have to tell you. And now we're going to Dubrovnik. So everybody knows about Dubrovnik. Personally, I have this love and hate relationship with this city because to me it's the most beautiful place in the world, and I've traveled across the world. But because of the overcrowded city throughout the months of summer, you know, you come there, you're there for 2 days, you fall in love, you see all the beautiful places within the city walls, and then you go and you take a journey to some of the islands across it. So I would say, and of course Alida and her colleagues within the company, when they will be talking about Croatia with you guys afterwards, you'll be able to see that there are a lot of, so the traffic within Croatia is very easy. It's easy to travel around. We have airports, we have wonderful roads that have been rebuilt. Everything is very, very close. So from Zagreb to Dubrovnik, if we're talking about like the longest distances that you can have, it's a 6.5-hour drive. So it's really, everything is quite close, right? But there are so many things to see that I would suggest always, when people ask me, you know, how long should we stay in Croatia, I always advise at least 2 weeks. And then, I'm sorry, I cannot control the presentation. There we go. So this is another picture of Dubrovnik. And now we're going to, I wanted to show you guys a bit of national parks. All of the national parks are under UNESCO protectorate as well. So this is, for example, the National Park of Brijuni, the 14 islands next to the city of Pula that I just showed you with the Roman amphitheater. It's amazing because on Brijuni Islands, you actually have a safari. So that is something that nowhere in Europe you can find. Why? Because for decades and decades, because of the Field Marshal Tito in the 60s and 70s, every single person who was coming to Brijuni to meet the Marshal Tito was actually bringing some of the animals. So actually, besides going for a safari and having a wonderful golf game, there are Roman remains, and that is something that is really, really unique. Also, if we go to Kopački Rit, this is the largest ornithological sanctuary in Europe. So every bird watcher who wants to come to Europe, everybody is always coming to Croatia, to this part of Croatia. These are Kornati Islands. I'm sorry, I'm having difficulties obviously with the presentation. Yeah. So these are the Kornati Islands, which are worldly famous with every single sailor and with every single person who ever wants to go sailing. So they're, as I told you, right in front of Šibenik and Zadar. And what is the most beautiful part about them is they're uninhibited. So everywhere you go, you will see just the pure nature. And every single island has its own secrets, restaurants, wineries, etc. Okay. So I wanted to share a bit about also about the cultures. So I've put a bit of museums that you can just take a glance of what we have. We have the best collection of Egyptian culture in this part of Europe. I'm sure that you haven't known it. This is the Museum of Illusion. Actually, the Croats have sold the franchise around the world for the Museum of Illusions. Now I know that you guys have it in the States as well. This is also something that people absolutely love, the Museum of Broken Relationships. It was quite cool when it opened several years back. It's in Zagreb, the city of Zagreb, and the whole story is about that two people have started it, and actually they wanted to give the all the attention to the endings of relationships. So now I know that there are several in the world as well. They also sell the franchise around the world. This is the Museum of Arts and Crafts in Zagreb. And this is the museum of the birthplace of Nikola Tesla. So every time you guys will go to Plitvice Lakes, which is also one of the most beautiful national parks, in my opinion, you will of course stop in this part of country to see the birthplace and the museum of Nikola Tesla. Also, I wanted to show you some other museums. This is very interesting. You see the Maritime Museum, and also the Contemporary Art Museum in Zagreb. It's the biggest contemporary art museum in this part of Europe. They have the brand new building. They've built it, I think, 8 or 10 years ago, and the works of art, the Moderna, not only from Croatian painters, but also from the regional painters, the collection is really, really amazing. So I always say to everybody who come to Zagreb, go and see Contemporary Art Museum. Also, there is a wonderful story about this museum. It's Museum of Salt. So for centuries, what we've been doing on the Adriatic coast, especially in the vicinity of the town of Nin, we've been collecting salt and selling it. It's one of the best qualities salt. So this is a very, very nice thing to go and take a look. Actually, what a lot of young people have been doing for the past 20 years, because that's what has been possible for them. They're coming from all over the world and they want to learn how to collect salt and how to preserve it. So that's something that it's really, really fun. And also when we talk about Croatia, I have to tell you that Croatian categorization system in terms of every single accommodation. So it's not only for hotels, it's for hostels, it's for marinas, the private accommodation, what have you. It's one of the strictest in the world. Therefore, when we talk about the hotels, especially the 4- and 5-star hotels, the quality of it, it's absolutely superb. And I have to tell you, I did mention it before, we have this sustainable hotel certificate. We have sustainable spa certificate within introducing Croatian tourism. And so that is something that gives you extra, I think, safety in when choosing any kind of accommodation. Also, when we're talking about spas, in Croatia, the quality of thermal water is among the best in Europe. So you should definitely, when you're thinking about Croatia, when you're thinking about going in the continental part of Croatia, think about the spas, because all of them are in the vicinity of Zagreb. Now we can come back to Zagreb, what to do in the vicinity of Zagreb. There are a couple of them in the vicinity of Zagreb. There are a couple of them in the eastern part of Croatia. Go take a look. The health tourism is now flourishing there. So yeah, I would always recommend to see the spa world in Croatia as well. Also, camping is very, very big in Croatia, especially for people from Europe. Usually the majority of people who are coming to Croatia from Europe, they're driving. So basically, when you're driving, you are able to take your own equipment, etc., etc. So camping in Croatia has been very, very big for really decades. And the 4- and 5-star camps are just, they blow my mind. Each year when I go to see them, in order to promote them, it's amazing what the people have been doing within the camping industry. Also, so we're coming back just to wrap up. So we have almost 1,300 islands. So for the newcomers, for first-time comers to Croatia, I would always recommend go to Zagreb, spend a couple of days there, and then just go and explore the coast. For the second time, of course, go to the continental part, which is like Provence without so many people. That's how I think of it about the eastern part of our country. Yachting industry and nautics is just growing exponentially from year to year. I would always recommend, spend, I don't know, if you're going for 2 weeks or for 3 weeks vacation, do the two weeks on the coast, on the islands, but then go and sail, because that is something that it's really, really unique for this part of Europe, for this part of Mediterranean, because we were lucky enough, as much as I absolutely adore our neighbors, Italians, on the opposite side of the Adriatic, we were lucky enough to have this beautiful, beautiful coast with so many islands. Through the pristine waters, it's just, it's a unique experience. So as I said, we are very well connected throughout Croatia. We have international airports, we have national airports. Anywhere you go, you can fly. So there are airports in Zagreb, in Osijek, Rijeka, Pula, the Lošinj Island, Brač, Split, and Dubrovnik. So you can fly into Zagreb, fly out of Dubrovnik. Of course, the colleagues in IWorld of Travel will tell you how to travel around Croatia, but it's very, very easy to travel. And of course, to wrap up, I just wanted to show you a couple of hotels, so you can just get a feeling of the coast. There we go. So this is basically it. I'm done with the presentation, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I do apologize for a bit of mishung with the presentation. I'm still getting used to Zoom, so I think that, you know, in this month to come, or maybe 2 months before this end of this terrible coronavirus, I think that all of us are going to be an experts on webinars.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. This is pretty much it. Okay, so this is the coast from north to the south. Usually what I also suggest to people is to go and see the architecture of the 60s and the 70s in Croatia, because just a year ago in MoMA in New York, there has been a wonderful show, the architecture exhibition of the Croatian architecture, the industrial architecture of the 60s and 70s. So a lot of the hotels in Croatia have been built in that time, so during that period, and they're absolutely a crown jewel of the 60s and 70s architecture. So I would always suggest to see that as well. Ta-da!
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much, Eva.
It was really, really nice to see the pictures of our beautiful Croatia. I would like to thank you really for a wonderful presentation. It was very interesting and thorough. As a Croatian girl, I do not have much to add, except that I have to agree with everything that you said, and basically, especially about the sailing part. As I grew up on the island of Hvar, which you also had a chance to see. In Ivan.
You're so lucky.
Yes. My dad has a boat, and when I was a girl, we in the summers when we were out of school, we would just go and sail around the island, sleep on the boat, and that's absolutely the best, I think, of Croatia.
The best.
And at IWorld of Travel, we are connected with a lot of, let's say, options to get your clients onto some really cool ships and do some really cool day trips and cruises. So this is something that I wanted to say as a really, the really best of Croatia. And then, you know, the food and the seafood.
Oh.
Is something that we are famous for, that I just cannot eat fish anywhere. I don't know about you.
I know, me neither. Oh yes, what I wanted to say, absolutely, Alida.
So spoiled we are, yes. We can't hear you.
No, we cannot. But Alida, maybe we can ask if the travel agents have any questions.
Yes, that would be good. I see a question here about the best time of the year to come to Croatia, and I would say it depends a lot about the people. My favorite months are June and September. They're somewhat similar, but in September the sea is warmer than it is in June, but I like it colder, me personally. I like June because everything, the tourism is, you know, picking up. In September, it's going down, so it's the right amount for me personally. The peak of the season in Croatia is, of course, June and July and August, because that's the time when everybody comes from Europe for their beach holiday in Croatia. It's the best month to travel around as a tour, to go and explore. I would say May and October are really, really good months for that. But also, though, let's not forget in the winter time, when there is almost no tourists and there is so many interesting things happening, Croatia capital city Zagreb was voted as the best city for Christmas markets in the whole Europe. So, you know, there are many, many reasons to come to Croatia any time of the year, really. It depends on the person.
No.
No, we cannot.
Do you have any other questions?
Hello?
Oh, now we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what I wanted to say, Alida, just about the food. We are so spoiled because everything is organic. So everything that we eat in Croatia, I just wanted to stress that out. The wine and the food, everything is organic, especially in those hotels with sustainable certificate, everything has to be organic. So anywhere you go in Zagreb or in any city or in the wine country, if you want to go down in Dalmatia or in the eastern part, I think that you will just be breathtaken by the quality of the food and the wine. Also, what I didn't mention, in Istria, in the peninsula of Istria, they have the best quality olive oil, and it's been voted the best olive oil in the world for the past 2 years. You can go ahead and Google it. And also is the truffle country. Okay, so everything that you have ever dreamed about in gastronomy you can find in the part in Istria, but also throughout Croatia. Also, what is very interesting to say about Zagreb, like Alida said, the Christmas market has been voted, you know, for years as the best European Christmas market. But also, what is very, very amazing, during the winter months, we have a World Ski Cup above Zagreb on the mountain of Medvednica. So from my house, because I'm from Zagreb, it takes me 20 minutes from the city center to the top of the mountain. That is something that not many cities in the world have. The possibilities of having ski, you know, the winter sports. Basically, I'm now in LA. It takes me from one part of LA to another where I have to go an hour and a half. An hour and a half, we are from Zagreb to the city of Rijeka, okay? So we are on the beach an hour and a half from Zagreb, which means that, Alida, we're the coastal town, right? Zagreb.
Yes, almost. There is another question here about how Croatia stands out from the other Mediterranean countries. And in my opinion is, as you know, I was actually born in Italy and I lived in Italy until the age of 10. One of the first destinations that I did as a travel professional was Greece. Malta was also a big destination for me and for my career, and I know it very well. And we all have something in common. And as Eva and I were talking the other day, we are right now partnering with those countries and sticking together in these hard times. But the way that, let's say, Croatia is different than the other Mediterranean countries is that definitely, even though it has been gaining popularity in the past, let's say, 10 to 15 years, there are still parts of Croatia that are completely untouched. There are still parts of Croatia where you can, you know, be the only person on the beach. That is one thing. The other thing, in my opinion and my perception, is this mix that also Eva has mentioned during the presentation. So we managed to build our own culture and our own persona, but it is completely different in Zagreb and in Dalmatia. In each and every island has so many differences in, let's say, the dialects. I grew up on the island of Hvar, and my parents still live there in a small town called Vrbanj. And the dialect in Vrbanj is very different than the dialect in the town of Hvar or in the two other towns on the island. Very, very different. So my point is, there is a lot of culture to explore, and it's not in a linear way Croatian, but it's more from the continent and different foods, and then Istria as a really special area, and Dalmatia is a special area. There is really like at least 10 countries in one in terms of culture and flavors and different customs and how people act and how people even dress. And it's a special country to go and visit. It's really good to speak to your clients and see what they like, so that we can kind of qualify them which destination in Croatia would be the best for them to make them really happy. And to be realistic, Croatia has that much to offer that people do fall in love and they do tend to go back again to see the other parts. About luxury, definitely I think Eva had shown some of the hotels that are really high class. There is also a lot of private villas, especially in the Istrian parts, that, you know, a family or a smaller group or even a couple, why not, could rent with the swimming pool, with a lot of services that are the hosts are able to provide, and similar things like that. Of course, that we are able to provide all private services, even white glove services for those really high class luxury clients. And also, on the other hand, the adventure, if you want to do some, you know, the national park Plitvice Lakes and the whole kind of central Croatia area offers a lot. There is a lot of rivers. There is the river Mrežnica, the river Krupa and Zrmanja, where you can go canoeing, kayaking. There are rafting for rock climbing, and really Croatia offers a lot in terms of adventure. As well on the sea, a lot of option with diving, surfing, actually windsurfing, especially in the area of Orebić, between the peninsula of Orebić and the island of Korčula. Really, really many options for those who have the need for adventure.
Adrenaline.
Yes. Any more questions? Is there anything, Eva, you wanted to add maybe?
I did want to add something for the younger public, or everybody who feels young in their hearts. So in terms of festivals, for the past 8 years, Croatia has been really the mecca for summer festivals, especially in Split, especially on the islands of Brač and Hvar and Mljet for some time. But also I would just probably wrap it up with, you know, somebody I think asked what is the best time of the year to come to Croatia. Every time of the year is the best to come to Croatia, because there are so many contents, there is so many things to do and to see, that, like Alida said, you can go from, you know, from 5 kilometers or for 2 kilometers on the island, and you will see the differences from a village to a village, you know, from a town to a town. So not only, you know, the different dialect, but the different culture. So that is something that makes us absolutely unique. I love every single Mediterranean country. I love every country in the world. But what makes Croatia different is that the mixture of the past and the present is just something so unique that is the reason why people come again and again and again. It cannot, you know, we've had this. We're not the new country, the new touristic country. We are, you know, the founders of, you know, tourism. It sounds cocky, let me tell you, but I will explain why am I saying this. The Romans have started with building their own summer houses 3,000 years ago there. So the destination itself is just, it's unbelievable, because geographically, when you look at it, where it's at in terms of other countries that surround us, and the importance of the geographical position, because of the Silk Road, because of the, you know, the Dubrovnik Republic, the Venetians, etc., etc., it makes it absolutely unique. and everyone wanted to have a piece of it, right, at one
That's
point
true.
in the history. So what happened was, we were under so many different cultures, but then not under as, I don't know, God forbid, slaves or what have you, but we were very actively in taking in everything that was best from each and every culture that was given to us, and then recreating it as well through our own culture. So, you know, when you have a Neolithic culture in the center of Croatia, which is in the town of Vinkovci, then you kind of, you feel very, very aware of everything that's going on and everything that will be going on in the world. So Croatia is reinventing tourism. You know, it has been reinventing tourism for the past, I don't know, 15 years or 20 years, right?
Yes, definitely. And then, you know, a lot of very, very special things like, for example, on the island of Hvar, where I grew up, there are several UNESCO heritage
Yes.
customs that are protected, like the procession following the cross that happens on a Good Thursday before Easter Sunday, where you know, when a little boy is born in a family, pardon me, they put him on the list, and the list is sometimes long for 20 to 30 years to be the person to carry the cross. And, you know, people come from all over Europe to just, they walk through the night. And this is something, a tradition that has been going on for over 500 years. They didn't stop it even during the Second World War, when the most of the island people were in Egypt as refugees. This is a religious event that is so special and so unique in the world, that is, and still a lot of people don't even know about it, right? And this is something that also makes, I think, Croatia really, really special.
Actually, there was a question, are there any significant religious heritage in places? So you were talking about...
Oh, yes. Yeah, I just wanted to stress out, so we are the Catholic country. I think Alida, correct me if I'm wrong, 98% of people are
Something
Catholics,
like that,
right?
yes.
Something like that. But the country is so open to every religion, and we're
It is.
so, I mean, we are Europe, right? And we are the world. And in Croatia, we are very, very open to every culture, because every culture was here at one point of time.
No, but are there any places that have a significance within the Christianity that
Maria,
Christian would want to see, or would want to do some pilgrimage, maybe?
Yes, yeah, we do have
I
it.
think that was the question.
I'm sorry. Yes, the Maria Bistrica, I would say, definitely, which is popular for
the processions.
the procession, and
Yeah.
the statue of a Madonna that was the only thing that didn't burn in a fire. That is considered a miracle. And then, of course, even, you know, Medjugorje, which is in our neighbor country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, we often combine it with that. And, you know, there is so much heritage on the island in terms of ways they worship, and how the religion is really practiced in a really, really authentic and unchanged ways for so many centuries. So I think that someone who is interested in a pilgrimage, it would be quite an interesting destination, absolutely. And we are able to craft it according to their wishes. We do have connections with local communities. We can get through to priests directly. So it's really, anything can be put together in regard of any religious heritage, especially Christian in Croatia. But as you know, Zahava, we were also working on a Jewish heritage Croatia, And of course, we don't have that much heritage like we do in the Christian part, but there are some interesting communities, and we often combine it also with our neighboring country, Bosnia and Herzegovina, with Sarajevo, which is, you know, the place where three different religions met and lived through the centuries. So absolutely, the region is very rich in religious heritage also, you know, so we can combine Croatia with our neighbors and give the travelers a really good picture of the life, religious life in those parts of the world.
Amazing. Yeah. Wow, what a session. Amazing. So I see that
Thank
we
you,
don't have any
Zahra.
questions. Yeah, thank you, Alida. Thank you so much, Eva, for an amazing, this is the second time I hear you. And I'm excited as I was in this first time about your country. It's amazing. Thank you so much, all. Thank you for taking the time to join us, to learn about this beautiful country, Croatia. Stay safe. And I hope that our life will be normal very, very soon. So we'll be able to start
Yes.
booking and thinking about how to take our clients to different parts of the world. And definitely Croatia is one of the top. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you guys look out for a very exciting video about Croatia, a little bit of, you know, virtual travel right now when you are at home. Eva has shared with us two wonderful videos that we are very happy and proud to share with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.